Hi, it's Carl here, and today I'm going to show you how the type of plant pot you choose can affect the growth of your plants. And this will be particularly focused on Japanese maples, because if their root systems get too wet, you can have real problems. Please watch the end, because I've got a really good tip of how I spot which ones are in trouble. So very sadly, put 3 in here, 2 dead, and very sadly one's heading in the same direction. Now bear in mind it's actually been really hot here in the UK at last for 2 or 3 days. So on the surface this looks sort of pretty dry and it's dry to the touch and all the rest of it. But if I put the water meter actually in, and I'll go down very slowly here, dry, 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 oh hang on a minute, yeah, at the bottom it really is pretty wet. Actually these meters do tend to sort of correct themselves a little bit, but I sort of go off the first reading mainly. All of these, by the way, have been put under shade. They've all had an equal chance in that respect, and admittedly they're seedlings, so there will be some genetic variation, but I think fairly clearly there we've got a real problem with over potting. They've got waterlogged, the roots have died. And then what you'll see if we just zoom in here is a typical example where, because the root system's dying, it then appears as though the leaves are getting scorched and burnt at the ends, universally all over, and that's a sign that the root system is giving up really. So sadly can't supply any more nutrient and water of course to the plant itself. 3 pots, very similar locations, put quite close to a fence I suppose, that might help a little bit, but pretty much an even amount of watering. Tops, yeah, pretty dry to the touch, so let's go in with the water meter and see what's going on. As you can see, a much more sensible, just moist kind of level. Again, you'd possibly expect it to be a little bit less after 2 or 3 days of heat, but that's okay. A little bit more there, but that's interesting though, because that one hasn't done quite as well, and it does maybe a little bit more waterlogged, but I think what we can see is down at the back here, just for the shadows, it's a bright day, is some of the leaves have actually died off and these have recovered. I think because of the warm weather, the reduced amount of moisture in the last few days or weeks, it's kind of helped. Then we're going to this fella. So this one's done really well. Let's have a delve into him. Again, moderate amount of moisture. Let's do another little reading. Interesting. I mean, it's not perfect science, because actually that one's doing okay and strangely doesn't seem to be so worried and have some sort of leaf scorch and problems. So moving on to the next one, same again. Oh, I beg your pardon, we're now into a smaller size pot, so we've gone down. And please note again that the diameter of these pots are fairly similar, so that's sort of stretching my hands. It's only, a little bit smaller, but quite a difference, look. So this one, in line with most of the pots in my garden now, needs watering. So I'd say this size was a safer bet and more sensible. That size, okay, and obviously the trough so far is not really winning. Another one here, just for completeness. And again, it's a bit low, but I'd expect that because it's been really, really warm and windy, as you can see. It's the combination of the warm wind and the heat, really. So here's a couple I put in little technical pots. Let's go in with this. Very wet indeed, actually. And this one here, again, really quite moist actually for what is the smallest of the pots. Why is that? Because I've used ordinary compost in here. There's no ceramic to absorb moisture, so that water is going to stay inside and a lot more. Also, these can get quite hot in the summer, so again, that may not do the best for the root system. But I think the primary problem is, and if you look on this one, we've got this classic sort of burning again, which again isn't burning, it's poor root system. It's because I've used my compost mix, my sort of 50% herbaceous compost and 50% mature compost, And in this case, it's not the volume, I don't think, it's what I put in. Whereas if you buy, these technical pots are from grafted cultivars, Japanese maples, and in the nurseries they use a really fast draining compost here, but water like every day, because they haven't got time to sort of be selective. So let's fast drain, let's use lots of water and do things that way, and that's what they sell you. So it's a slightly different strategy to myself, who in a pot like this, you know, I can't water every single day, I may be going away, I need a bit of longevity in that way. So a better compromise needs to be a clay pot. And a sad little fellow just at the end here, sad tail, and if I put some that in there, it's absolutely dried out. In some senses, if I'd have really kept an eye on this and watered it every day and taken huge care, that's fine. I mean, please do that if you've only got one or two. But I think if you're actually going to enjoy the genetic variation of seedlings, which is really nice to see, then you're probably going to plant loads of them. So I'm not saying, of course, you know, do a specimen, just do a few for sort of bonsai, whatever you want to do with them. But if you're planting quite a few trees, realistically, they need to be fairly self-sufficient. So just the same as their bigger cousins, really. It's about putting them into a pot that is not going to dry out constantly, but nor is it going to get waterlogged. So I really hope you find that useful. Trying to put a little bit of science to this. I don't think many people try and do this, it's more anecdotal. But as these are seedlings, they didn't cost me anything, I was given them, which is really nice. Probably people in Dorset gave me some to sort of play with. But on the one end of the scale, yeah, plonking them in a big trough, that's not going to work. Going down the size, well, it's okay. But, you know, you can find your way and there'll be an ideal pot for your climate where you are in the world that's going to produce the best results for you. Yeah, I couldn't help myself. Of the 3 maples I planted in here, the poor fellow at the end had actually survived to this point. So I've just found a little pot that I had lying around and we'll pot him on, really. So fingers crossed he'll do okay. And just to show you as well, a little trick I did promise. So if I came across a tree that didn't need watering in this instance, I just put one of my bamboo stakes in it. Only like that. So I can then very quickly sort of run around them all and omit watering that one. But interestingly, I'll leave that there for next time. And if I find that this still doesn't need watering again, that's how I'm kind of flagging a problem, that actually we've got an issue and need to take some remedial action. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you found the video useful. Please like and subscribe because that really helps, and if you've got any questions or problems with your maples, by all means leave a comment. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Take care and see you soon.